Morning, all my visionaries. My name's Jessica. I am your light guide today. Thank you for joining in another chapter, part 3 in The Greatest Love of All. I am so sorry that I was not able to put it out yesterday. Sometimes life takes over. We can try and push through, or we need a day to just be by ourselves and maybe cry it out. Life happens. But I'm back here today to finish up part 3 of The Greatest Love of All, where we break down that beautiful inspirational song by Whitney Houston. Check it out on, iTunes, the official YouTube channel for Whitney Houston. If you have not heard, I'm not going to do the entire song, but I'm going to do 3 of the main parts that is sung in there with her. And if you want to check out my other 2 parts, I'm going to figure out how to do links soon, and I'm going to put it down below. If you enjoy this video, give it a like, subscribe if you want to join me again, and leave a comment. What inspirational song have you sung, or you sung yourself, at karaoke, or in the car, in the shower? But the last part was, we were talking about, let's see, I believe the children are the future was the first part. Teach them well, let them lead them way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside, right? Give them that sense of pride and make it easier. Let the children's laughter remind us how it used to be. And then decide and let it be for a long time, never to walk in anyone's shadow. Whether you fail or succeed, at least you're doing it your way, right? At least I lived as I believe, no matter what they take from me. So that they again, remember? They can't take any away from you, because I am they and you are they. They can't take away your dignity in that way. So part 3. The greatest love of all is happening to me. Learning to love yourself is the greatest love of all. The greatest love of all. It's easy to achieve. Learning to love yourself is the greatest love of all. And if by chance a special place that you've been dreaming of leads you to a lonely place, find your strength in love. It's a great way to end, right? Find your strength in love. So, the greatest love, we find out, isn't, loving your neighbor. It's not loving your spouse. It's not even loving your kids. It's loving yourself. A lot of times, especially moms, will hear this comment a lot. New moms especially. So new moms, this goes out to you too. That you've got, and it goes for everyone though, but moms especially hear it because we tend to forget about taking care of ourselves and forget about thinking about ourselves, because we are constantly conditioned to make sure that the family is okay. But if you don't take care of yourself, then how can you take care of others? So the greatest love of all is loving yourself. You have to love yourself to love others. If you don't love yourself, you're not going to know how to love others, right? You'll probably always think that others are out to get you because you don't believe in yourself. You're not confident in yourself. You don't believe yourself to love worthy. A lot of sick relationships are caused by this, because one or both parties do not feel they are worthy in love. Some people never get into relationships. They self-sabotage relationships as well because they do not believe themselves worthy of love. Sometimes people can work through it when they have a child, but I believe it's best to try to learn to love yourself before you have that child, because you don't want to be figuring it out as you are trying to take care of a child, because you won't take care of that child as good as you would like to, and later on, when you have it figured out, you'll probably end up doing what many of us mothers do every day, which is beat ourselves up. I didn't do it well enough. But don't. So, learn to love yourself. It is the greatest love of all. She says it's easy to achieve, learning to love yourself. I don't know if that, I feel like that may have been good for the song almost. I feel as though once it's achieved, it's easy to do. I know myself, it's, taken all the way up till here, to love myself. If you reawaken yourself, step out of this matrix, it is easy, because you let go of that perfectionism, that perfect image that is in this matrix, where perfect is making no mistakes, and realize that perfection is the experience. It's making the mistakes. It is you, as you are, in all your flawed glory, or what is perceived as flaws. Those I don't really think are flaws. Those are character traits that make you you. And, it's kind of chilly here this morning. Bundled up. If you, kind of work past what society, what the matrix deems as flaws, and realize that they are not flaws. I was an art major first, my first round through college. I have been through college so many times. I must love to teach myself things. I do, though. I love learning new stuff. But as an art major, we're kind of taught a lot of different things that some people might not ever learn in life. And that's because you definitely use a different part of a very special part of your brain. One of my professors used to try and get me to get past my perfectionism. I had this image in my mind that, this is the way I want my art project to turn out. And then some mistake would happen, and I would be so devastated. Oh my gosh, how am I supposed to do this? I see this in my son too. He is quite the artist. I've told him he will be far greater than I ever was, because he started so much earlier, being serious about it. I would draw casually, but he is so serious and so talented. And I see it in him too, where he has this image in mind, and he gets devastated if something happens. Typically in art, it's so easy to come back from, and that's the way life is. You see there's a mistake, there's something that happens that you did not expect. Check out my expectations video if you have not seen it. Those expectations are a killer. They'll get you every time. But you sometimes think, I'll never come back to it. And there's two things you remember: that it's easy to come back from those things. It's just a snapshot moment in time. And this too shall pass. But there's another thing that my art professor, he's so amazing. I don't know if he's still there, but he was a joy. he called everyone dear hearts, and he really made a lasting impression. But he would say, no, 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 that's a happy accident. And I adopted that phrase. He said it so much, and I started to see that, oh yeah, that did work out. That worked out better than I planned. And if we are able to just let go of those expectations of ourselves, that I'm supposed to be this certain way, then you can see that normally it works out better than we imagine, because the universe has always got our back. The universe and our self, capital S, we'll talk more about that, it always knows, it has the bigger view. Let's say we're down in the valley, right? And you can't really see all the twists and turns, the fall places, but the self, the higher self, right, is higher than you. The universe, source, God, is higher, soaring above you. They can see it all. So they'll be, it works out, and you're like, wow, it was so much better. And of course, your higher self is sitting in the background going, of course it did. What were you thinking? I got you, homie. Got you. So, once you've done that, once you've kind of grasped that, it is easy to achieve. I know myself, like me as a person, I've talked about this before. I had my own kind of self-image issues, I didn't like my legs. They were so fat in my eyes. They're so thick, double C. As one of my children decided to let me know that I was thick the other day. And, I was so used to seeing my sister, who's so long and lovely, and she has these long, slender legs, and it made, I looked at myself, I'm like, why am I not like that? You're never supposed to be like anyone else but yourself. That is the only person you are supposed to be. So never try to mold yourself and fit yourself into someone else's mold. You cannot fit a square peg, right? This is preschool. Square peg into a round hole. You will never fit, and you will never shape up to what they are, because you are supposed to be a different shape. So learn to love yourself, because that will lead you to that special place. The special place she's talking about, what I feel she's talking about is where you're supposed to be, what you're supposed to be doing in life. Your special little niche. But if you wake up, typically a lot of people who are, waking up into their higher self, who are being light workers and, trying to inspire others, it does set them apart. But let's face it, guys, if we are to stand out, we weren't supposed to be like everyone else. We're supposed to stand out from the group. And standing out is to be different. You will be a little, lonely, but that's okay, because you will be a guide, a leader, and you can find your strength in love. Not anyone else's love, the greatest love, which is a love for yourself. Your own self-care, your own self-love. I really enjoyed doing this series. I'll probably do a couple other series, because there's so many inspirational songs out there. Song and music tend to really be inspired by source. It's an easy way, I feel like, for our higher selves to come out and really get the message that all of our higher selves are trying to teach us. So I will meet y'all back here tomorrow, and until then, peace and much love. Bye, guys.